Mr. Ahmed Abeed, thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to NDTV. My first question to you, sir, is how do you view the statement made by the Maldivian president where he's blamed the opposition for a financial coup in Maldives?
First of all, thank you for having me. I've been on NDTV even in January, just a few months after President Moise has taken oath. At that time, it was there was a movement called India Out, and that's where even at that time I mentioned that Maldives needs India, and there will be a financial crisis because the number showed that the successive governments has taken a lot of deficit finance, which President Moise has inherited, and also he inherited a campaign called India Out. But after the parliament elections, as I predicted, everything became the relations between Maldives and India has improved. Ex-Minister of External Affairs has just visited Maldives. So as I concluded, even at that time, Maldives needed India, and it was India was being very lenient even in last April, and also in this September. There are bonds like $50 million bonds, which has been now delayed and given the leniency by India to Maldives. So I would like to say, first of all, if India didn't given the leniency, this would have happened more earlier, but it was Prime Minister Modi's gracefulness, and as well as India has been always there for Maldives, as I have been repeatedly saying that. So what we see today is the successive deficit financing of Maldives. Maldives tourism sector is doing very well. We have built world's luxury resort tourist destination. I've been part of it, but I would say that living beyond our means with a big welfare programs that is not sustainable. This is the result of what we see today.
Do you think the financial situation that is in Maldives is alarming, and what is the government really doing about it to address it?
Yeah, thank you very much. So even at that point, before even 7 months, the first priority of the government should be to find a solution for the deficits they are financing, which is not sustainable. Tourism in Maldives is doing very well. We are reaching 2 million tourists this year. For the record, it will be a record number of tourism arrivals. But because of the deficit financing, the excessive rupiah which comes into, this government has stopped printing money, but still they are bringing out deficit financing through T-bills and bonds, which has to be stopped. We have to recognize that there is a financial crisis and work with multilateral organizations and also bilateral organizations, our neighbors, mostly with India, and find a solution for this. So we have to recognize there's a crisis, but still we have the tourism backbone. We created the world's top luxury tourist destination, and we have the average room rate, the highest average room rate in the world. So I've been part of it, and a lot of Maldivians even called me when this crisis happened, because I've been referred to as the man behind Maldives for this luxury tourism destination. But I've been advising that even to because President Moise and all the cabinet members now and most of the parliament members are my colleagues, my old party members. So I've been advising them to make it sustainable, recognize it. I would say it's not still too late for Maldives, but we have to recognize it. We have to work together. Maldives should unite. The political parties should unite together. President should call for unity to solve this crisis. So first recognize the crisis and try for a solution for that. I think that will be my advice.
But is there really a financial coup taking place in Maldives right now?
I believe that I wouldn't comment on the coup because there's a political side of it. But I would say there is a problem. There is a problem. There is a crisis, which I wouldn't blame President Muiz because he's just been 7 months into the presidency. It's something he inherited. So it's time to recognize there's a problem. There's an issue out of it. So if there's any crisis, there is opposition. Everyone will try to work against each other. But I would say we should recognize the need. We should recognize the Fitch ratings, the advice of the economists. I would say we should work more together with India, come up with a solution, recognize it, so that it's time for the stability. There is no future by using this as a political tool, even by the opposition, because this is something that is going to affect every single Maldivian. So I believe there's a crisis, then a coup.
Do you think this present situation in Maldives is going to increase the instability and probably see more of China's role going forward in Malé?
Yes, there have been loans taken from China, and as well as President has visited China. I would say this is the time that government should request for leniency, but I've not seen it until now. President Cole, as he stated, green light from China to delay the loans. I would say there should be requests to write off because we're a small nation, as you said. We're going towards a lot of debt from China. I would say Maldives should request that and get it done, but I haven't seen any kind of leniency so far. There is negotiations, but I haven't seen any loans getting delayed, and there's no announcement from that. So we are yet to see what's going to happen with the China loans and Maldives.
In the context of what's happening in Maldives, the elections coming up in Colombo, the flux in Bangladesh, do you think the Colombo Security Conclave is now even more important than ever before?
Yeah. So I have been always advocating friendly relations between India first policy. I said even before 6 months that history tells us that it was India who has been there. We are neighbors, and neighbors are going to stay. Prime Minister Modi is taking India to a 5 trillion economy nation. So we need to be a part of it. End of the day, even Sri Lanka, when they were in crisis, it was India who helped them. So I would say we should work with our neighbors, especially with India and Prime Minister Modi, to solve these problems. And I would say for the greater good of the Indian Ocean and for the peace and for the long-term sustainability, Maldives should be assisted in this course of action. And I hope that the current government of Maldives will take economic reforms, open up the economy, let the dollars inflow come in, and as well as curb the deficit financing for a sustainable economic goals in future.
You said that Maldives and India share a bond, and you've said that how India has been helping Maldives the last couple of decades. What would be your expectations from India in the current financial crisis that Maldives has?
Thank you very much. As a politician, I've been a little away from politics for the moment. I'm mostly based in Middle East. I've been doing a lot of advisory work for the private sector to come in. I've seen how UAE has developed very well during, especially even during COVID and after COVID, and especially how Indian has been developing. So my kind request, and I've seen the relationship between India and UAE and how much it benefits both countries as well. My kind request for India will be always Maldives is its most closest neighbor. I would say it is the smallest neighbor in the region, but Maldives is very important for the Indian Ocean security, so it needs to be sustainable. And I hope that India will lend a helping hand for us to stand up rather than handouts, which is not required, but sustainability of our economy and reforms of economic reforms. I would say that will be the way forward. And I really hope to see that Maldives go out of this economic situation as soon as possible before we face a situation where Sri Lanka was like 2 years back or 1 year back. Yeah.
And do you think Maldives needs to learn from Sri Lanka when it was in a financial crisis and it leaned more and more on China?
I really hope that the lesson is learned. As we see, even during these 6 months, Maldives has improved their relationships. I believe now it was President Jammeh who built an extraordinary relationship, who went towards China and who started this India out movement. So he's out of, I would say, out of power, as well as he has fallen out with President Muiz. And I would like to appreciate the fact that President Muiz has tried to improve the relationships with India. He went to the oath-taking ceremony of Prime Minister Modi, and also External Affairs Minister has been well received very warmly by President Muiz and colleagues and the ministers. So I would hope that Maldives learns the lesson and work towards trying to find solution with India before it's too late. And I hope this plays well in Colombo Conclave as well.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to NDTV.
Thank you very much for having me, Gaurie. Thank you, NDTV.